Howdy, it's me again. Welcome to the Coffee Lingo series, episode 3. So, you might be wondering, what are we gonna talk about today? And we're gonna talk about crema in espresso and different roast levels when it comes to coffee beans. So, let's start. You probably know crema as that rich, velvety, creamy part on top of the espresso, right? Well, did you know that crema is a direct result to the amount of CO2 trapped in the beans? So if you like crema, it means you like gas. It's gas, bro. So do you like gas? I don't. Anyway, crema is also a direct result of brewing coffee under pressure. So that means that you don't get crema when you're making a pour over, right? Because there isn't any pressure involved. Have you noticed that some coffees have more crema than other coffees when brewed as espresso? That is because lighter roasted coffees have less CO2 trapped than darker roasted coffees, which means that the darker the roast, the more crema it'll have. Darker roasted coffees are something that Italians are used to drinking, right, in Italy. So let's say you are working in an espresso bar here in Melbourne, and an Italian walks in and he says, "Oh, sorry mate, I'm gonna have an espresso." And you serve him an espresso and he says, "Oh, I don't know, what the fuck is this shit? There is no crema on my espresso." So he's probably thinking, "Oh, this coffee must taste like shit." But what he doesn't know is, this is not Italy, mate. We don't dark roast here. Crema is not directly related to good tasting espresso. So it means that if your coffee doesn't have a lot of crema, it doesn't mean it's gonna taste bad. As a matter of fact, if you got some beans that make that thick, rich crema, and you just skimmed the crema off from the top of the espresso and tried it on its own, it's gonna taste like shit. It's really bitter. So keep that in mind next time you're complaining about your coffee not having a lot of crema. Let's move on to the different roasting levels when it comes to coffee. You're probably thinking, what's the big deal? What's a light roast, a medium roast, a dark roast? What are those light, medium, and dark referring to? Well, if you think about it, and you also have a look at beans that have been roasted at different levels, you'll probably notice that those beans have a different shade of brown. The lighter beans have a lighter shade of brown, something like looking like caramel brownish. So very light on the brown scale, let's put it that way. Medium roasted coffees probably have that shade of brown like milk chocolate, and darker roasted coffees are probably on the darker side of brown, almost bordering black, sometimes almost bordering black, and sometimes even very oily. So you can definitely tell if a coffee has been roasted dark if it is oily, that's for sure. So this is the easy way to recognize light, medium, and dark roasts. But also there is a technical side to it. It all comes down to the time the beans are being roasted for after the first crack, which is also called development time ratio and is expressed in percentage of the total roasting time. There is also a big difference in taste between the three levels of roast. Lighter roasted coffees are roasted on the lighter side because it's probably specialty coffee beans. So the roaster is trying to bring out the best out of those beans. So you're probably expecting some fruity notes, some fruity acidity, some floral aromas, a very light and delicate cup, low on body, probably higher in acidity, but overall a very pleasant experience. Medium roasted coffee, on the other hand, are probably better suited for milky drinks. They tend to bring out milk chocolate notes, caramel notes, almond, hazelnut, so something like that. They have a medium body, a very velvety finish, but overall it would be a very pleasant cup as well. Dark roasted coffee is something on the extreme. So most of the time you're expecting dark chocolate or cocoa tasting notes. Sometimes, but not always, you will also get a pleasant bitterness, but most of the time you're getting that very bitter, almost charred taste that a lot of people correlate with coffee, but it's not the best the coffee can offer. Usually companies that are very famous on the coffee market, such as Illy, Lavazza, Starbucks maybe, or something, those companies that usually also buy commodity coffee are also the ones that are roasting dark. So just think about it for a sec. Why are they roasting dark? Because they're buying shit beans, mate. That's why. As a matter of fact, I have a personal experience. Me and Valeria, we were in Milano and we went, for some reason, to the Starbucks shop over there, which is the biggest Starbucks in Europe. I think they're calling it the Reserve Roastery, and it's the only one in Europe. At least it was the only one when we were there 2 years ago. We walk in and we expect a fucking nice cup of coffee, right? But what we got were dark roasted beans, probably suited for Italians, and I'm gonna tell you the tasting notes. So burnt rubber, charcoal, my grandpa's old shoe, which I use mostly to describe dark roasted beans, and aroma of burnt plastic. So we paid around 5 to 6 euro, I think, per cup, and we just put a bit of salt, trying to get rid of the bitterness, but that didn't work out either, so we just left the cups and walked out. So moral of the story is, don't drink shit beans, man. A big noticeable difference when it comes to all of these 3 levels of roasted beans is the crema. The lighter the roast, the less crema you will notice. And the opposite, the darker the roast, the more thick and rich that crema is. So if you're a Karen, for example, you probably love that crema on the espresso, right? And then you see a light roasted coffee brewed as espresso and you think, this is fucking shit, this is not good. But no matter if you enjoy light roasted or dark roasted coffee, there is no right or wrong here. It's all subjective. So whatever you enjoy, just make sure you don't complain about the crema. Give your barista a slack, especially if it's a specialty coffee shop. Don't expect miracles when it comes to the crema, and definitely don't complain about it. Just taste the coffee first, see if it tastes good, and then if it doesn't, then you should complain. I think that's a pretty good advice. That's all for today. Thank you for joining. Let me take a bit of a sip. Oof, that's definitely not a dark roasted coffee. I'll tell you that. We'll see you soon, guys. Bye. Hey, buckaroos. How'd you like that? No matter if you did or didn't, tell us what you think in the comments below. We love you either way. Check out the 2 suggested videos, subscribe to the channel, and while you're here, have a look at our social media accounts. We have some cool content over there as well. Alrighty, time to fuck out of here. Peace.